Okay, so whilst YouTube is still checking to see if there's any copyright that they can use to block my exposure of fraud, we'll see, because obviously YouTube are owned by BlackRock and Vanguard ultimately, who ultimately own Liberty Media, who ultimately own the show of Formula One, who committed a global fraud. And so by me making videos about it, they try and block that. They don't like it. They'll show the videos to a limited number of people to make me feel that I'm getting somewhere with it. But the reality is, with a channel which has only got 8,000 subscribers, 8,000 people as a proportion of 108.7 million people that were defrauded live globally, well, that's a tiny amount. And when most people don't realise they've been defrauded, well, they're going to get away with their fraud. But this is part two. So part one looked at this notion.
Not that I want to big myself up on that, but I feel we've told the real story as we've gone along. I do think the worst case scenario is if somebody's running ninth and ends up on the podium and you haven't flagged it up. You haven't.
Yes, if somebody is running ninth and ends up on the podium and you haven't flagged it up. Okay, so let's just show you something that is going to demonstrate that Martin Brundle's a liar. So part one covers what they knew back in 2012, what they've been working under since 2012, what they've seen happen and happen time again since 2012. And when we get to 2019 and we get the Brazilian Grand Prix. Now, if I go to data view of the Brazilian Grand Prix,
to go back and
what we can see here, because even back then, you know what, even knowing who the lapped cars are is not as easy as you might think. Tells Brundle the day after Abu Dhabi 2012. Pierre Gasly, 6th position here. See where it says gap plus 1 lap. That would mean he has been lapped. Crazy shit. Okay, now you can look at this bar here. This represents the track. Okay, this end, the left hand side of the bar, represents the beginning of the lap, and you go all the way along this bar here, and the right hand side of the bar represents the end of the lap. So this is going around the lap. Hamilton, the leader, I believe. Was Hamilton the leader of this race, or was it Max Verstappen? Let's have a look. No, I was wrong. See, I can admit my mistakes. Max Verstappen's the leader. Hamilton is in 2nd place. So what we can see here, there's Verstappen, the blue dot. There's Hamilton, the leader. There's Gasly. So you can see that they're ahead of Gasly, meaning that they've now lapped Pierre Gasly, right? So lap 54 of 71. They haven't deployed the safety car yet. Let's go to tracker view. Let's have a look on tracker view.
coming off the car, so they'll know if he slowed down enough or not.
So there they are. There's Verstappen, there's Hamilton, there's Gasly. All right, so that's where they are around track. Start, finish straight is this bit at the top. This is Brazil. So what we're going to do is just briefly go back to data view.
If he slowed down enough or not, we'll keep you posted if
Yellow
anything
flag.
is said.
Chunk it for now. Safety car.
Safety car, full safety car.
Full safety car. So they fannied around a bit, all right, to determine whether or not they were going to deploy the safety car for that. And then they decided that they were going to. So let's now have a look what goes on, okay? Because we know the safety car regulations. We know how long will they wait. They firstly got to deal with the incident. And then they've all got to bunch up and they've got to release the lapped cars. Now, how many lapped cars are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Bottas is out. 14. Kubica. Now, what they won't do is they won't allow someone to unlap themselves twice. All right. Essentially, if you fall 2 laps back, then they're saying, right, no, we're not going to take that much out of a race. You'll get 1 lap back, but not 2. All right. There is more to it than that, but without making a big long video about it, I'm not going to go into that. but that's the way that they operate this system. Anyway, and I might do a long video of that at some point. We'll see. We'll see whether he'll be bothered to. Anyway, we're going to go on to tracker view. Let's have a look.
Oh, safety car.
Safety car, full safety car. Let's have a look how long they wait then. All right, let's have a look.
And this could make things very interesting indeed in this race.
Oh, the safety car is going to all of a sudden make it more interesting. Yes, we like hyping the show up. Salesman.
As the pack will now concertina together, and because Valtteri Bottas had an engine problem and pulled over to the side of the track.
Okay. Who is ahead of Pierre Gasly? Well, that's Alex Albon. Right, now let's just go back a little bit here. Alex Albon is there, right? Gasly's here, so Gasly's got to go around here and there. Who knows whether Gasly can track down Albon? All right, but that's the car that Gasly's trying to compete against. Albon, 5th, Gasly 6th. All right. So let's see what happens.
Put people out actually. Safety car, full safety car.
Well, safety car. And this could make things very interesting indeed in this race, as the pack will now concertina together. And because
I mean, Vettel here, he's going to concertina up and have a go at Vettel. Sorry, Vettel's going to have a go at Hamilton, because Vettel's in 3rd relative to Hamilton 2nd. So why should Gasly not have the chance of catching Albon in the same manner?
Valtteri Bottas had an engine problem and pulled over to the side of the track. Well, the race control, the race director has thought, well, we need a safety car here, so no overtaking, everyone concertinas together. What does now this mean?
And a cheap pit stop for anybody who needs to come in now. You only takes you about 11 seconds to stop.
But if they red flag it afterwards, then it's a free pit stop.
Box, opposite Verstappen.
So if Verstappen comes in, you stay out, and if Verstappen stays out, you come in. So Ted Kravitz, you're going to see one of these two cars, possibly it's Verstappen coming in, Ted.
So he stays out, but Verstappen's going to put a set of soft tyres on, and then he's going to be very quick. It's only 11 seconds. Verstappen can make that time back. So this is a gift to the likes of Leclerc, who can put fresh tyres on. Roman Grosjean, who is being chased down by loads of other people on trying to make a one-stop race. That's going to be a gift to him. I think Lance Stroll is going to pit as well, as I see the Red Bull coming in on those soft tyres. McLaren, they're going to pit as well.
So this is the first full lap after the deployment of the safety car. Now, what has the safety car been deployed for? Well, it was Valtteri Bottas parked his car here at turn 4 on the inside of that corner. Okay, so he was off the track already. All they had to do was bring a car out of the gap, hook his car up and reverse back with that crane, and he's then out of the way. They didn't need to recover the car from the track itself. They didn't need to check the barriers. They didn't need to clear up any debris. They didn't need to put out any fire. So it's a really quick clear up operation. This is just one lap after they deployed it the previous lap. This is the first lap after the deployment.
It's really helping a lot of the midfield runners. But let's see the Hamilton and Verstappen, as Max is now going to chase him down. Did you not think that was slightly pot and kettle calling black, with Verstappen saying that Lewis didn't slow down enough for yellow flags?
I thought he'd learnt his lesson well from Mexico, Ted. Don't be a cynic.
But on the restart, Max has got a lot of cars in front of him. Grosjean, Gasly, in fact, no, just
Brundle lying to people. But on the restart, Max have got a lot of cars in front of him. That doesn't work like that, Martin. Why are you lying? You've been working under these regulations since the beginning of the 2012 season, Martin. Why are you lying? We're now in 2019. Okay? 2019 Brazilian Grand Prix. Brundle's lying again.
2 cars between him and Lewis Hamilton.
So there's Valtteri Bottas.
A lot of cars, 2 cars. It will be no cars, Martin.
That's his car getting winched away. Michael Massey, the race director, in the background there.
Let's see what Michael Massey knows, shall we?
With his hair getting ever greyer, I'm sure. As in comes Charles Leclerc for his pit stop. The key here is that the lapped cars, Martin, can unlap themselves.
There you go. Crofty's once again telling Martin, the key here, Martin, is that the lapped cars can unlap themselves. See, Crofty knows. Martin should know, he's been told this every time, but he still keeps saying the same thing because he's paid to lie to kids.
So if there are a few
Just like Jim will fix it, he'll lie to kids as well.
cars in between Hamilton and Verstappen on the track, I think most of those are lapped cars and will get out of the way.
Good point, Crofty. Good point.
So on the restart at the moment, Gasly's been lapped, Grosjean's been lapped. They'll both clear out of the way, so Hamilton will have Verstappen right behind him.
It's not an absolute given that they let lap runners through, is it? But it's certainly available.
No, it's an absolute given, Martin. Look at Martin Brundle lying to the children again. It's not an absolute given, but it's certainly available. Do you see a sign on them regulations, Martin, saying optional regulations? No, you don't see that sign because it's not optional, Martin. That's not what it's about. It's a mandatory regulation, not optional.
It's at the discretion of the
9 times out of 10. We'll have
No.
Verstappen right behind him.
It's not an absolute given that they let lap runners through, is it? But it's certainly available.
No, it's not available. It's safety car regulations. Once you deploy the safety car, you carry out these regulations, Martin. Lying. How long have you been lying about this, Martin?
It's at the discretion of the
9 times out of 10.
No, it's not at the discretion. See, again, after Charlie Whiting died, you start lying about the show. The fixing began all the way back then.
As you say, they usually do.
They usually do. Oh, so we can pick and choose how we're going to conduct a sport now. We don't have a uniform set of conditions as to how we can test this sport. Or are all sports guided or actually have to adhere to a uniform set of regulations that all the competitors know are going to be enacted when you take part in that sport? Oh, it's random regulations. Spin the wheel and see what we do at this race. No, that's not what it is it?
So Leclerc has had his second pit stop of this race. And that will definitely help him. He's now on the soft tyres through to the end of this race. And just get the feeling this has worked out beautifully for Charles Leclerc in his scrap that will be coming up with Sebastian Vettel, assuming, of course, he gets past Alex Albon.
Worked out beautifully for Charles Leclerc. Wasn't Leclerc... Well, actually, wasn't the car in front of Gasly Alex Albon? So, Charles Leclerc, what's happened with that then? What's going on there? Has Leclerc dropped down the running order? Why has this worked out beautifully for Leclerc?
It's quite a long way behind him at the moment, but he'll certainly have a much faster package in the Ferrari, as you say.
Yeah.
He's quite a long way behind him at the moment, lying to everybody. Because what happens during a safety car? Oh, everybody bunches up. So what's this about? Oh, he's a long way behind him at the moment. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. We know that they're going to bunch up, so why are you talking about them being a long way behind at the moment? Oh, because we're just filling the airways with verbal diarrhea. What's going to happen is all of these cars are going to bunch up. Why is Brundle saying, oh, he's a long way behind him at the moment?
Assuming, of course, he gets past Alex Albon.
It's quite a long way behind him at the moment, but he'll certainly have a much faster package in the Ferrari, as you say.
Yeah. Well, he's a long way behind him at the moment, but this safety car period is going to go on for a while, I think. Well,
it has to. That's what the regulations are. They can't just go, oh, we'll bring it in now. Go. No. Look at where they were at the beginning. Look at all the gaps. Some of them gaps have disappeared. They're all bunched up. And if you do that to some, you've got to do it to all. And if that means all being Pierre Gasly. Okay, because if everybody's been able to bunch up on the car in front of them, well, Gasly's car in front of him was Alex Albon, and he's gone away from Gasly. He's now here. Let's have a look how this plays out, shall we? Because there is a set of regulations, something that has to happen, or there is the lies that you're hearing from Brundle and Crofty.
Sorts itself out.
What tyre has he gone to? So he's gone to the soft tyre. You're going to give me some power? So if you pre-select a strap mode 5, we've got everything we've got at the moment.
And that will be on his steering wheel, the different strap modes that he can go to.
Max wants them to hurry up. He wants to get on the tail.
Don't care what Max wants. Max wants them to hurry up. So it's irrelevant what Max wants. You've intervened in a race to deal with a safety incident. Now you've got to carry out the mandatory procedure.
Yeah.
Of the Mercedes, he'll be on better tyres. We've already seen him coast past once climbing the hill today.
Well, the thing is, Hamilton will want this safety car to stay out as long as possible.
It's irrelevant what Hamilton wants. It's not about what the drivers want. It's about what needs to happen.
Max Verstappen, as you rightly say, please, can we go in as quickly as we can? Bernd Mailander in danger of being overtaken by Lewis Hamilton there. And I know he looks like he's going for a Sunday afternoon drive in the country, but he's going as fast as he can. Hamilton.
So, you can see Robert Kubica during that safety car period, he has pitted. So he's lost even further ground on everybody. So he is well out of this. He was lapped twice at the beginning of this safety car period. But look how far he is behind there now.
Just feels here, sitting duck. Max on fresher, faster tyres behind him with a package that has worked well all weekend. But just how many laps will Verstappen have to get past Hamilton?
And likewise, Russell. Russell is in 18th position, and he's pitted as well, losing ground.
When we go racing again.
Safety car needs to speed up, man. Jeez.
Yeah, I got the feeling that message was coming as well. Ted, down to you.
It seems like with Mercedes it was like, well, we're second anyway, let's try this, because if it doesn't go well, we'll probably still only be second. But that's not counting with Charles Leclerc, who surely is going to devour his teammate Sebastian Vettel, Crofty, as you've been saying. Vettel...
So that's about 2.5 laps completed behind since the safety car was announced. 2.5 laps completed to deal with an incident where all they had to do was get a crane, bring it out of that gap in the fence at turn 4, hook up Bottas's car, reverse back. That makes it safe. That's all they had to do. They didn't have to sweep the track. They didn't have to check the barrier. They didn't have to deal with a car that was on fire. Didn't have to do anything like that. 2.5 laps still.
Knows it. He's been on the radio saying, what were our options? Could we have come in? What other things could we have done? But I think
Is Alonso saying, we need to unlap now to get this job done? Come on, we need to unlap already. No, Alonso's not saying that, is he? Why aren't we unlapping ourselves? Who's saying that?
They just, well, either they were late or didn't get the right tyre or didn't have the tyres available, but they didn't, and I think Leclerc's going to get the better of his teammate.
Lapped cars are now starting to unlap themselves.
There we go. So the incident has been cleared up, and now they're giving the all clear for lapped cars to unlap themselves. Now, Kubica's been lapped twice by everybody apart from his teammate. Russell's the only person that hasn't lapped Kubica twice. But Russell will be right on the back of his teammate anyway.
Which means a lot of action, as you can see. Starting with car number 10, Pierre Gasly.
So look at the lap that they're on. Okay, this is the third full lap that they are on since the safety car was deployed. Now, let's see how long this takes. So there'll be this lap where they have to pass the leader, and then the safety car will return to the pits at the end of the following lap. Let's have a look what happens.
There's a lot of lap cars. It's a very short lap here at Interlagos. Very quickly do you start getting laps. And this is going to take a while to sort itself out a little bit. How many laps older are Sebastian Vettel's tyres? 5 laps older than Charles Leclerc's.
Yeah, Max is on brand new softs then, of course.
Yeah. So he's on brand new softs. When did Albon come into the pits?
Lewis is on 12 lap old mediums.
So he'd only just come into the pits, Albon as well. Is there a danger here, Martin, that Lewis Hamilton is under threat from Verstappen, Vettel, Albon and Leclerc towards the end of the...
Due to amazing strategy from Mercedes. Well done you, Bono, well done you.
This race.
Could be. Yep. Leclerc's got to pass Albon first before he can get to his teammate, but Vettel's sitting there as well, exposed, isn't he? Albon was unlucky because I think he did a green flag pit stop, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
They were unlucky because they did a green flag pit stop rather than a free pit stop because of a red flag. Yeah. Masterclass.
But they're all concertinaed up. I guess when you put the full safety car out, and when you put the full safety car out, it means there are periods of time when the pack are all around the other side of the track.
Absolutely right, Martin.
And if you want to clear a car away, whereas a virtual safety car, they can keep coming round all the time. It was a difficult call, but that car was out of the firing line. You couldn't hit that car there, but I guess leaving a stranded car on the side of the track is not really very Formula One, is it?
No.
It's just not cricket, is it, Martin? So, what you're seeing there is Russell, the last of the lapped cars, has passed the leader. So, the regulation is that the safety car will return to the pits at the end of the following lap. Once the last lapped car has passed the leader, the safety car will return to the pits at the end of the following lap. Let's see if the safety car returns to the pits at the end of the following lap.
Struggling to keep 10 minutes eyes, man.
Yeah, because he needs that safety car to go a bit faster. There's the Williams of George Russell unlapping himself. And with Russell now doing that, that means that all the lapped cars have unlapped themselves.
Absolutely right, Crofty. Well done, you.
But Pierre Gasly is just going through Lorania, the little pine tree at turn 8, while Charles Leclerc is going through turn 1. So there's a massive gap for the pack now to catch up with the top 6 who were all...
Oh, there's a massive gap for them to catch up, Crofty. What do you know? What do you know? I thought it was to get them out of the way of the race between the leaders. Are they out of the way of the race between the leaders?
Running on the lead lap. So that safety car, Martin, could be out for a couple of laps longer, do you feel?
Oh, it could be out for longer, can it? Can it, Crofty? Let me know what you think in the comment section, Crofty.
Yeah, if they're going to let them get all the way back round to the back of the pack, yeah.
And I kind of think they need to do that because it's such a short...
Oh, you think they need to, and you think the reason's because of it's the length of the lap that determines that here, not anything else. Oh, this one it means this. In this one it's this regulation, it's this rule. Oh, it's mystery rules of Formula One. No consistency, it's roll the dice, it's play some clever cards, it's having nothing to lose, it's only live once. Hyping up the show.
Lap here, what you don't want is the pack all concertinaing up and then interfering with the race leaders in about 10 laps time.
Who's interfering with the leaders? Who's interfering? Well, you're interfering with people's minds, that's what you're doing. Because when this race gets going again, they'll all start stringing those gaps out again. That's what happens.
If that makes sense. I know we've only got 71 laps here, but I mean, the key is that they then don't interfere with the race.
It's nothing to do with the key about interfering with the race, and we'll see what the key is when we get through to the end of this.
For the rest of this race. And because they'll all be scrapping away for points as well, and it's only fair that they can then...
Oh, yes, it's only fair because they'll be scrapping for points as well, and it's only fair. Oh, sporting fairness due to the FIA International Sporting Code. Oh, a set of uniform, consistent regulations that you apply that all sporting competitors know that they're competing under. That one. Or we're playing Roll the Dice Mystery. No, we're not doing that, are we? Sport. All competitors are competing. All are trying to compete for World Championship points. Oh, you're allowed to, but you're not. See here, yeah, just the top 5 you're allowed to now race off. 6th, no, not you. Yeah, you're not allowed to race 5th. But 7th is allowed to race 6th. That's fine. Yeah, we've decided that. No.
Run their race.
They're about a half a lap ahead now.
Yeah. So I think... I would imagine in a couple of laps' time the safety car will go, and it's what the 12th time we've had a safety car affected race here at Interlagos.
Safety car is remarkable.
It's remarkable the statistics that they know, isn't it? Remarkable that they know a little bit about safety car deployment.
remarkably fast for a road car. Why does it need to be a road car? Because it's got to be on the key in any conditions, wet or dry, on a set of tyres that are suitable, with enough fuel to take this lot around for a good while.
Christian Horner.
Oh, so it needs to be a road car because other cars aren't capable of that, Martin, no? Other cars aren't capable of having tyres fitted to them that are suitable for all conditions and that are capable of having enough fuel to be performing several laps of that track. Oh, this is why it's going to be a road car. Thanks for that valuable insight.
On the Red Bull pit wall, good news or bad news, this safety car, and why did you decide to pit Max Verstappen?
Well, in a situation like that, Mercedes would have done the opposite, so we've taken that attack in
So the safety car's coming in at the end of this lap, is it?
approach to this last part of the race.
Would you say that now, look at George Russell, the last running one, is he far enough out of the way of the race between the leaders? Okay, is he interfering? Who's Russell interfering with? Start-finish lines up here, right? Let's have a look where they are when they cross the start-finish line.
We've conceded track position, but put him on what we think will be a better tyre to the end of the race.
Okay, so turn eight of Interlagos, right? Are they all bunched up? No. Is George Russell interfering with that race between Hamilton and Verstappen? No. What's Michael Massey doing, the race director? Michael Massey, the race director, what is his decision making? Because we'll go through Michael Massey's decision making at the end of this.
And the end of the race, he's going to have a chance to get past Lewis, but surely you're going to have to be watching as well for Vettel, for Albon, Leclerc. All could be a grandstand finish, this.
Oh, it's going to be a grandstand finish, this. The kiddies love the grandstand finish.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. So, yeah.
Oh, they like the big ones as well.
You know, we've gone for it. As I say, if we'd have stayed out, they would have pitted. We elected to take the aggressive approach, so we'll see what we've got to the end of the race.
Thanks ever so much, Christian, and good to have you with us this weekend.
How one of my tyres, man. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep him behind. So they're 15 laps.
Safety car coming in at the end of this lap. So
you couldn't make it up, could you? What's going to be happening by the end of this lap then?
He's going to have 12 laps or so to try and survive this. It's kind of all doom and gloom in Lewis Hamilton's head,
yeah.
But that's understandable given the position he's now in.
Verstappen and the Red Bull have just had the raw pace today to put themselves in this strong position, but it's not done and dusted yet. But Lewis is definitely having a glass half empty day.
Which could all change if he's on the top step of the podium at the end.
Lewis is having a glass half empty day, is he? Look at the verbal diarrhea, just filling the airwaves with noise whilst they are completing this mandatory procedure. All irrelevant, okay? What's relevant is poor strategy by Mercedes by leaving Lewis on them tyres while everybody changes. That's what's relevant, okay? It's not about a glass half empty day, is it?
End of this race. Max Verstappen is as keen as a young Cocker Spaniel behind him there to get
A young Cocker Spaniel?
going.
And you really do need to let the safety car get a long way away here, because you climb the hill.
Oh, what can we see now? All of the competitors bunched up in the correct race order, one behind the other. The only anomaly to that is Kubica, who was 2 laps down. He is actually ahead of Russell there, but essentially Russell is caught up, okay, to the car that Russell will be challenging is Hulkenberg. He just has his teammate Kubica in front of him, who will get blue flags. But he's at a point in that race whereby that's what it is. He's well out of it, and they weren't going to release him to take another lap or so out of this race just to enable a guy that was 2 laps down. I believe that it was a lot of it is due to I'll go through this at another point in time rather than get into the bog down on Kubica on this particular video.
Come on, mate. You've done this once already on the same compound.
So Hamilton will back the pack up right now as Verstappen is finding and has to jam on the brakes. And this is cruel. So let the safety car go away. Look, see Verstappen, look how keen he is to try and get past Lewis. He's almost level with him.
Yeah, but
That's illegal.
Nervous of that Ferrari coming at him as well, and that's exactly what Lewis is trying to do, trying to back him into the Ferrari.
Using all the experience that he's got, and they can't pass, of course, until...
And what have we got? Correct race order, apart from the Kubica. Nose to tail, all of the previously built up advantages wiped out, and that's how we go racing again after you've had to intervene in a race due to a safety incident.
They get past the line, and he's still trying to get a bit of temperature into his tyres. Lewis Hamilton is now, he goes, Alex Albon all over the back of Sebastian Vettel. He's got a decent...
So, what we're going to do is just going to bring this forward a little bit here. I'm going to... Where are we? Let's see if this update's quick enough. I've gone too far. Gone too far, ruined it for everybody. Bit more. Let's play it from here. Let's see if I've got the right place.
If he can find a way past...
No, I've not. I'm going to pause this and find the right place. So, you know, I'm mindful of pleasing my entire audience, because there's a lot of people that subscribe to the channel that really don't like it, but they've subscribed to try and disprove all of the evidence that's shown in every video, and they'll comment that it's not evidence, even though it's evidence. But they'll like this bit. Let's play through the last lap.
Max Verstappen starts the final lap of this Brazilian Grand Prix. Gasly is currently second. Lewis Hamilton runs third. Carlos Sainz fourth.
Gasly second. Gasly was sixth. Gasly was lapped. He's been lapped. Just get him out of the way. He doesn't matter anymore. You can stay lapped, says Brundle.
The stewards are going to be looking at that incident. Alex Albon is down in 15th. That is proper heartache for that young lad who did not deserve that at all. The door was left open. Was Hamilton too clumsy? We'll talk...
He absolutely deserved it. He had no luck all year. Maybe Alex Albon should deserve to be the world champion. Who knows? Because he absolutely deserved it.
About that in a moment. He's got damage to his front wing, Lewis Hamilton. He's looking for a way past into the Cida de Lago, but he can't find a way through. And amidst all the carnage behind, Max Verstappen is going to go and take this win, Martin, and no one will in any way query that. He deserves it this afternoon.
He absolutely deserves it as well.
Alex,
fault?
you left the door too. He left the door wide open. It was such an invitation for Lewis Hamilton there, and Lewis, it wasn't exactly all the way alongside him, but I think he was entitled to stick his nose in there.
The stewards are looking at it, as you can see, as Max Verstappen gets his foot down for one last time towards the line. Lewis Hamilton tries to make his way where we've got past Timo Glock in 2008 at Junsao to get past Gasly. The checker flag is out. The Brazilian Grand Prix goes to Max Verstappen. A year after he finished second and had it taken away, it is redemption day. Hamilton fights Gasly to the line. Gasly comes home to take second place by less than a tenth of a second and win his first podium in Formula One.
Gasly wins his first podium in Formula One. You couldn't make it up, could you? Gasly wins his first podium in Formula One. Now, what Martin Brundle really doesn't want to happen, you know, he'd think he's failed as a commentator.
And I go, McLaren have to cover that now. Feel quite good about that because it's hard trying to think about the strategies for all of them. We don't and how it'll play out. Not that I want to big myself up on that, but I feel we've told the real story as we've gone along. I do think the worst case scenario is if somebody's running ninth and ends up on the podium.
What about sixth and ends up second, their first ever podium, Martin?
And you haven't flagged it up, you know, you haven't telegraphed that watch out for this, watch out for Charlie Hummingtop, you know.
Pierre Gasly.
He's ninth at the moment, but his pace
Sixth.
And he's not got to stop again and all that. That would be my, and it's never happened, it'd be my
Yep, it just has.
ultimate nightmare that somebody pops up and like, oh.
It'd be an ultimate nightmare, somebody exposing you for exactly what you are, wouldn't it, Martin? Yeah, it would. Let's have a look about what Michael Massey knows. And let me take you through the process, because this is the evidence that's available to you all. If you go onto the FIA website, you can go to sport, and you can go to World Championships. You can go to the Formula One World Championship. You click on that. You scroll down here, and Las Vegas Grand Prix official documents. You can click on that initially, and then when you're on that, what you can do, you can go to filter by the season, you can go to the 2021 season, you can go to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. There you go, right? And then you have here the list of documents, the official documents. Now you've got decision, Mercedes protest, article 48.12. So you can click on that. It will download you a PDF. You click on that, and there it is, look. Gary Connolly, Felix Holter, Derek Warwick, the three FIA corrupt stewards. Mohammed Al Hashmi, I don't know what his level of involvement is. He was supplied by Abu Dhabi. But this is their report, that the process is dismissed. Red Bull, Wheatley, Horner and Newey were there to present their side of an argument where Mercedes are just appealing to the stewards that the FIA has broken its rules. So the FIA have to assess the validity of what Mercedes are saying and compare that with the rules and regulations of the sport and determine whether or not that is a fact or not. And rather than determine whether or not it's a fact, they ask Red Bull what they think in the comments section. So that's not a proper process, is it? And the team's legal counsel, a barrister, Paul Harris, he can't identify that. Strange that, isn't it? Strange how good lawyers are. Yeah, lawyers. That's a legal matter. Only lawyers will know, not you. Don't you worry your little head, because only the lawyers will be able to understand this. Red Bull as an interested party in the comments section. The hearings adjourned to allow Red Bull to consider its response in further detail. Go away, Red Bull. See if you can construct an argument to Mercedes' argument. No, that's not the legal process. No, this is a facade. Nobody's got any objections. Claims of Mercedes, or is it the factual presentation that the regulations were broken? Red Bull were allowed to argue in defence that you're not being attacked, Red Bull. This is about regulations. These are the regulations. The governing body didn't follow them, therefore you have altered the outcome of this race. It's not about that. And let's look what Michael Massey, the race director, had to say. The race director stated that the purpose of Article 48.12 was to remove those lapped cars that would interfere in the racing between the leaders, and that in his view Article 48.13 was the one that applied in this case. So Michael Massey, the 2 laps that you kept that safety car lapping after you'd done the lap of that those cars were released on in Brazil, why did you keep them out there for 2 laps? After the 1 mandatory lap that those regulations dictate, once the last lapped car has passed the leader, the safety car will return to the pits at the end of the following lap. That's a 1 mandatory lap after the lap of release. Why did you keep them out there for 2, Michael? Is a car at turn 9 when the leaders are crossing the start-finish line, is that them interfering with the race between the leaders, Michael? Are you predicting interference in 15 laps' time? Is that what you're guarding against? The predicted interference? Yeah, is that what you're doing, Michael? No, it's not, is it? You're carrying out a procedure to enable sporting fairness to be restored to all competitors, and yet at Abu Dhabi, this is what is in the official FIA report, the stewards report, into what supposedly took place there. And there you present it's to remove the lapped cars that would interfere. It's all a lie, isn't it? It's all a facade. It's all a facade. And this is the evidence of that. This isn't the only evidence of that, because Michael Massey did that same thing on 3 other occasions. He did this at the 2019 Spanish Grand Prix by keeping that safety car on track for 2 laps beyond the lap that the lap cars were released on, to ensure that those released cars fully caught the back of the pack. He did it at the 2020 Sakhir Grand Prix. He did it at the 2020 Eiffel Grand Prix. So 4 occasions during Michael Massey's tenure as race director did he keep that safety car on track for a further lap beyond the mandatory lap. 2 laps of the safety car after the lap that they'd been released on. Abu Dhabi 2021, he didn't even perform the single mandatory safety car lap, and presents this in the Stewards' Appeal. The Stewards' Appeal that Red Bull should have no involvement of whatsoever, that Mercedes, rather than they send their team principal Toto Wolff to, they sent a legal counsel, a barrister. Don't you worry your little heads, Paul Harris, the team's legal counsel, that's appealing to a judge. No, he's not. No, a barrister is there to represent you in a court that's in front of a judge. No, Derek Warwick, the Great White Hope, he's not a judge, he's just a second-hand car salesman. So you're not performing a role of a barrister, are you there, Paul Harris? That's just a facade as well. And as a legal counsel, you can identify that Red Bull had no involvement in this. You're not asking Red Bull what they think in the comment section. You are comparing what took place with the regulation. That's not an opinion-based thing. It is a factual analysis of what took place and what the regulations are and what they are for. And you compare the difference between the two and therefore what it actually skewed the outcome by. And that's all it is. Who's inviting Jonathan Wheatley, Christian Horner and Adrian Newey into that process? Oh, the corrupt FIA. Do the corrupt FIA in their report into the incident explain all this and explain the corruption behind all of this? No, they don't, do they? No, because it's an entire contrivance. Anyway, let's go back and see if the checks a bit. Oh, it's still checking the first video here. Still checking to see if they can block that video on copyright. So we'll see if the first video, we'll see which gets uploaded first, part 1 on pop 2. That'll do on this one. Thank you all for your time. Who knows whether you'll actually get to see this one, whether they'll find a way of putting the blocks on this one. Anyway, thanks for your time.